Hi everyone! I'm excited to share with you my final presentation. My name is Sarah Dawson. So my program is 5 separate writing workshops for the TCCL's Young People's Creative Writing Contest, and my target library is at the Owasso Library. So here's our overview. We're going to go through these 4 different parts of the program. The community engagement plan. So the Owasso setting has about 35,000 people. We serve lots of nearby towns, even though they also have libraries there. People commute to us. We serve over 10,000 people a month, so that is about 400 people a week. We're part of the Tulsa City County Library System. We are located in the heart of downtown, so we are prime real estate. And it's also currently being renovated, and we're a high traffic area. All walks of life come through, but it is predominantly white. So there are 2 important readings. I found the community engagement part of this course my weakest, and the part that I had the least experience with. So I loved that the first reading gave me a list. So I love lists, so I could just check off parts of the community, and the library is a place that people are willing to commute to, and so it is part of the community. And then I also loved how they talked about community being conceptual, so it's very individualized, and it boils down to people think of it as a place and an interest, and the library is already an important place in the community, and it is a place of interest, so it is part of the community. Here's my logic model, and I'm not going to read it all to you. You can pause if you want, but it would take too long, and I'm going to say these things over and over again later in the presentation. So here's our marketing plan. We want to increase the teen and tween participation in the Young People's Creative Writing Contest. We also want to increase the teen and tween participation in the library programs. This would be a test to see if they're interested in doing weekly programs. And we also want to create lasting partnerships with between the library and the school system, because the schools are an integral part of the success of our programs. Here's my SWOT analysis. So the strength is no other library is doing this writing program series that's specifically designed for the submission types of this contest. The weakness is that Owasso is very far north for most of the locations in our library system, so participation's likely going to be local, but that does produce some opportunities, because if it's successful, then we can copy this program and send it to other branches farther south so that more people have access to it. And the threat is this is a program where participation has kind of declined, so maybe it is just a program that needs to be repurposed and resources spent a different way. Marketing success, these are the ways that we will do that. Our ethics framework, so this quote is from the ALA Code of Ethics, and we want to reach as many people in as many different formats as we possibly can. So that's how we're going to do that. Here's our communication and public relations strategy. I started with the memo to the director, and it essentially just tells her the purpose of the program, what the expected outcomes are, and then how it can potentially benefit TCC as a whole. This is the memo to my coworkers, and it's just letting them know that I might need help from them in order for the program to be a success, and to encourage them to ask any questions that they have before the program starts. Our social media assessment was actually pretty good. The Owasso Library does use Facebook effectively. They don't use Twitter effectively at all. But we are liked by almost 2,600 people. We reach a lot of people per post. We have regular posting schedule, and it varies. We have a lot of different things that we post on there. And our goal is to increase it to 3,000 likes in 6 months. And then here's our media plan, and I've said a lot of these things, and I'll say them over and over again, but we want to increase the participation in the contest. We want to make sure that this program gets brought to other locations. The intended audience is 10 to 18-year-olds. It's unique because it's only located at our location. This is a specific, crafted program for the contest, and it's going to be advertised in a million different ways. Here's a press release that we're going to give to our local journalist who writes for an online website for Owasso, and also for our regular newspaper article. So the advocacy plan. The objectives are the same that have been with everything else. We also want to develop closer relationships with libraries and the school librarians and the teachers. And then we also want to offer quality writing instruction. I do have some creative writing experience, so that's why I'm heading up the program. But if someone who is more experienced than me wants to step in, that would be awesome. So our key message is creative writing is more than expressing something. It's learning to organize information, which a lot of people don't understand, that creative writing is it is a process to help you learn how to organize information. We know our audience. Why is this important? Because we're going to touch on some things that schools don't actually teach anymore. They don't teach you how to write a play or a comic, and I've even noticed that they don't really focus on poetry a lot anymore. So we're going to help fill a knowledge gap with this program. And creative writing helps make people better readers and writers, because writing and reading go together. And then our goal is to provide the opportunity for lifelong learning. So here's what I think, what you should feel and what you should do. And I'm not going to read it because it's going to take too long, but there's a lot of information there. Here's a story from Kwame Alexander talking about teaching poetry to children. And he's awesome. If you haven't read anything by him, I suggest you do. Here's an example, and it basically just boils down to creative writing. It helps children figure out a lot of things. Not just, it's not just writing stories. They really are learning whenever they're writing. And then a fact. So this talks about how writing and reading really do go together. So if you want better readers, then you need better writers. So what determines our success? We have a bunch of different ways. We can monitor social media. We'll have a survey at the end of the program to see what the students learned, and then we will take note if any resources were checked out, and we will compare the number of submissions for each category to previous years. So in conclusion, our programs start next month, and I'm very excited about it. The submission types are short story, short play, informal essay, poem, and comics, and we'll have one program each week for each of those. And then the goal is to increase the participation in the Young People's Creative Writing Contest, and hopefully the community engagement, marketing, communications, and public relations and advocacy that I learned about this semester will help make this program very successful.